Alright, brushes in Photoshop. This is a 101 on how to create brushes. If you want to get started, I'm just going to close out this document, make a new document, and to make my scratch pad. So US paper, 8.5 by 11, 300 dots per inch, and I'll start off with the standard brush. Two ways to make brushes. Let's say I have something already in a document. So I'm already in my scratch pad, or you can bring in a photo or whatever, and I have this mass right here, a blob, and I want to turn that into a brush. Well, I grab my marquee selection, I hold shift, and this makes a perfect square selection. I can get to the corner of this thing and drag it around if I wanted to. Then I go edit, define brush preset. Junk 1. Now that's a brush. So now I can go in here, select, deselect, go back in here. Now I have that brush and I can make duplicate copies of it. Also, you can take and go into your brushes palette and choose to do all kinds of crazy stuff like dynamics to it. Everything that is in here can be either having no pen pressure or control off, or based upon wheel rotation or many other things. I have a Wacom tablet. It's Intos 4, so I'm just going to be using pen pressure for some of this stuff. But I can use angle jitter. That will rotate it. If you ever want to rotate a brush, it's right here. Spacing between it. That's kind of fun to play around with sometimes. But my point here is, in design terms, is brushes are a quick way to design without too much effort. So if I got something like a page border that I want to make real quick using a junky old brush, I can. And on a Wacom tablet, when you reverse the pen, you have an eraser. Very cool. Now let's look at other things, like really big brushes. Let's say I go on the internet and I find this thing. Okay. Alright, I just typed in shapes. Here's a good way to search for how to make really good searches for brushes. I'll do a Google search for shapes, and then I'll go to images, and then I'll go like this. I'll go line drawing or black and white. So I got black and white already. That's cool. And if I go in here, if I go to 8 megapixels or 10 megapixels, I got this really big brush. Now, is that important? Because that's what the philosophy I thought at first. Big brushes equal lots of resolution. But that is not the case at all. Because there is two forms of brushes, in my opinion. There's a pattern brush, or a brush based upon a picture, and then there is a brush based upon the ability to draw. Take this for example. I can copy this image and go into Photoshop with it. File, new, OK, edit, paste. The problem is this is not a square document, so it's going to fail. Also, I got this white thing here, so I'm going to delete it. Holding shift, I can try to make a square in here by holding shift. Oops. But it's going to fail because it doesn't fit. So, canvas size. And I'm just going to make my width the same as my height. 45.833. There we go. Now if I hold shift, edit, define brush preset is not there. Why? Well, actually, the size of the document can't exceed 2048. So I'm going to type in 2048, and you're going to find out that now my brush preset now works. Define brush preset. I wouldn't make the average brush every time 2048, and you'll find out why here in a second. So this is junk 2, And now I can go back over to my pseudo design thing that I started, and now I have this new brush, and this new brush can go, maybe I'll introduce a little bit of this to the outside edge every once in a while. And don't forget, I can rotate this brush based upon brushes. So I can go to brushes, rotate it a little bit. I can go to my navigator and zoom out just a little bit. Start introducing some of this to this outside edge. And if I wanted to be blatant about it, I could put it smack dab in the center. But I got this brush that I made just a little while ago based upon this crystal growth that would probably look good in the center. Ooh, something stupid, but yeah, it's kind of cool. Now, let's say I was making a brush to draw with. Well, I wouldn't make a brush 2048 by 2048. In that case, I would make it 256 by 256. Why? Well, I'll show you here in a second. Let's say I take my opacity and lower it down and make a few dots. Dots. Dots, 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 dots. Okay, and then I'll take these dots and go define brush preset, and I'll call this junk 3. This one will allow me to quickly sketch with it, where my other one did not. My other one was basically there for patterns. This one's for drawing. See how small it is? And I can go into brushes and vary it up some. So I can take some scattering on, and I can take some angle jitter on it, and maybe take this, put it that way, and some variance in my pattern. So play around. You can't lose out on this. And now I can make some texture in my background. So this is the type of brush this is made for. It's made to sketch and kind of put some texture in the background, and it makes really small dots too if you lower it down. Alright, so that's Brushes 101. That's how you make big brushes, small brushes, and sketch brushes. Enjoy.